Hello and welcome back to another macro day right here at Scriptcase by Jamie, and that is me, of course. And today's macro, well, it allows us to configure our applications. SC_APL for application _ conf for configuration. So let's check it out, shall we? So we have a form as well as a grid application open, and well, this macro allows us to use this within both of these applications, and we can do it to configure the application. So for instance, now with the form application, if I just go ahead and run it, we will have our default form. And with the SC_APL conf macro, we can actually adjust that. So right now it is in edit mode. It is the default standard, it's the way it opens. And if I come here to on application init, and in here I can then use the macro. So the first parameter that we have here is the form name. So that is then the form _orders as I have it here within the Scriptcase environment. I then specify what I want to happen with that application. So that could be start, it could be insert, it could be update or delete. And of course, we have here our next parameter, which is then new. Now with all macros, of course, we should always go and check the Scriptcase documentation. So back on the Scriptcase documentation, we can see here we have the SC_APL conf, and here we have the properties as well as then the values that we can set. So with the start property that we had configured just a few moments ago, here we have the new value, which I had also specified. For insert, we have on or off, update, on or off, as well as delete, on and off. And we can also specify if we want to dynamically hide fields. So we can hide a field or show a field. We can also set it as read only, as well as configure rows. That would of course be for the grid applications, because we can also use this here within the grid applications. And when we have the form set as a grid insert, well, then or a multi-insert, then we also have rows. Okay, so then we will have these two options available. Otherwise, that is the same here also for a grid application. For all other applications, we have exit as well as then the URL, which allows us to specify where we want that application to exit to. So when we close it or finish the process, it then passes on to the next application. And of course, we have our examples here. We're going to check some of those out. And of course, you can come here into the scriptcase.net documentation and check that out. You do also have it locally, don't forget, within your Scriptcase environment. Now you have here also the applications, and as you see, it supports pretty much all of them. Always on the on application init event on the majority of the applications here, except the blank application, which is always the on execute, and also here the on script init, which is then also on the majority of applications. Otherwise, again, he may have on load for the tree menu, which may be soon disappearing, as well as then here extra events for the control form. Okay, so let's check it out, shall we? So now that I have this macro configured, if I go ahead and run the application, well, now the form is going to start new, which is really cool, right? So it'll start as a new application. So there we go. Now I have my add button, I have clean fields, and just like that, the application will start as a new form. Now, of course, we had other options there. We had there also the insert, And there I can say insert off, for instance. And if I run that again, now we will have, well, the insert functionality will be off. So here we again have our edit form, and we have no add button to insert new fields or forms, should I say, or new data. Okay, so we then also have the update and delete as an option, as well as the field read-onlys. And don't forget, you can also use this within the grid application. So here within the grid application, we can, for instance, say, well, we want this to start as a, well, filter, maybe, yeah, instead of the default grid. So let me change that here to the grid orders. And here maybe let's change that to, say, filter. Okay, so we're going to specify here one of the grid modules that is available. In fact, I've got that the wrong way around. So that goes there, and here we define start. Okay, so if I go ahead and click then the run button, and then we can see that our grid orders here will in fact start with the filter module instead of the default grid data. And there we have it. We have the search, and with this then of course we can then view the grid. Now if I go ahead and remove that again, because I didn't really show you the grid previously, and we can check out the grid in its default method or setup, which would then of course be the grid layout as we had just seen when we click the search. Now we have other options here also for the grid application, and we can say here grid orders. And instead of start, we can say rows, and I can say, well, they 5, for instance. I only want 5 rows. And just with that, then the grid application will be configured differently and provide me only 5 rows. And provide me only 5 rows. Now it is important to note that there are quite a few options with this macro, and really, it really blows up your application development within Scriptcase. This is why we are creating these macro videos, so that you can see how awesome some of them really are. And really, if you take some thought and some planning and everything else within your project, well, you can really reduce the amount of applications that you have to create just by adjusting a few elements. And at the same time, you can also improve your environment. Okay, and remember the integrity, right? Data integrity is always important, and having your applications configured correctly is always great. So the macro scope we've pretty much covered. We've seen that within the documentation, but just in case you don't remember, it's on execute, on application init, on the inits in general, validates as well. So validate failure and success. You can use these options there, and that can then reconfigure the application for you, which is really an invaluable tool for us to create those dynamic and responsive applications that we want for our end users. And just by very quickly making a quick adjustment here to this scapl-conf macro that is provided to us in Scriptcase, well, we can really enhance our user experience as well as streamline our workflows and, of course, ensure that our applications behave as we intend them to. So I hope you have enjoyed this macro video. Of course, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, any ideas on where else you would maybe use this, what processes you would use this. Of course, you have all those options there. Check them out. Let me know how cool this macro really is. So thanks very much for watching, and until the next macro day.